Merry Christmas and welcome back to All About English. I'm Dennis Wilborn, and this is my new segment called Read All About It. And I'm excited to share with you my reading and explanation of Charles Dickens's classic tale, A Christmas Carol. I'm presenting the story in 26 parts, which is a lot, but that's all right. It puts them into nice bite-sized pieces, and we can ask questions about the themes and messages of the story as we move along. Join me as we follow the journey of Ebenezer Scrooge and discover the true meaning of Christmas. Let's continue our adventure with part 4 of chapter 1, A Christmas Carol, Marley's Ghost. Marley's Ghost. It says part 3, but it's actually my 4th video. The first one was the introduction. Chapter 1, Marley's Ghost. The first vocabulary word is a verb this time. The verb is growl. 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 To make a low sound in the throat, usually as a sign of anger. Often you use this with dogs, as in the dog growled at the strangers. Growl. Fun word to say, even more fun to do. Growl. All right, resolute. Resolute is an adjective. It means having or showing great determination. This is a good sentence to describe my daughter. She is extremely resolute to get her own way, or to get her way. Yeah, absolutely. To show great determination. Are you resolute in improving your English? Let me know. Click the link in the description down below. Quarrel. Quarrel. Noun. Normally, quarrel is a verb, but in this case, quarrel, we use it as a noun as well. A quarrel is an angry argument, usually between friends or family. The two sisters were in the middle of a nasty quarrel. Quarrel. Another. It's an older word, but very usable even these days. Quarrel. Homage. Now, this is one of those H words where the H is so silent, you might as well not even have it there. Homage. Some people say homage, but it is actually usually pronounced homage. It's a noun. Something that is said or done to show respect for somebody. You might see it as in a painting or something that someone says or writes. In this sentence, the painting is an homage. That's bad grammar. Because the H is silent, this article should be an, not a. The painting is an homage to the brave men who lost their lives in the war. Homage. It's pronounced like honest, except it's homage. Notwithstanding. Notwithstanding. Despite something. This is a preposition. Notwithstanding last winter's extreme storms, water remains scarce in California. So if you ever just want to say despite something, despite last winter's extreme storms, water remains scarce in California. Yeah, it's totally, just replace the two. Notwithstanding. It's fun to say too. It's notwithstanding. And the last one here, portly. Portly is a great adjective to describe someone who is rather fat. I'm not going to say it's a nicer way to say someone is fat, but it's kind of a nice way to say someone is fat. Oh, look at that portly gentleman coming our way. Or he has become rather portly after retiring. I used to be rather portly, and if I don't start exercising again, I will become portly again. All right, let's get into this book passage. Christmas Carol, Chapter 1, Marley's Ghost. Remember, where we left off, Scrooge was speaking with his nephew. His nephew had just come in to wish him a Merry Christmas and invite him over to dinner with his family, his wife. Scrooge reads right at the beginning. Why did you get married? Because I fell in love. Because you fell in love, growled Scrooge, as if that were the one thing in the world more ridiculous than a Merry Christmas. Good afternoon. Nay, uncle, but you never came to see me before that happened. Why, give it as a reason for no coming now. Good afternoon. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why cannot we be friends? Good afternoon. I am sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. We have never had any quarrel to which I have been a party, but I have made the trial in homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, a Merry Christmas, Uncle. Good afternoon! And a Happy New Year. Good afternoon. His nephew left the room without an angry word, notwithstanding. The clerk, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, had let 2 other people in. They were portly gentlemen, pleasant to behold, and now stood, with their hats off, in Scrooge's office. They had books and papers in their hands, and bowed to him. All right, well, that's the end of this section of the story. So, wow, a little bit of a quarrel, a little bit of a fight. Well, at least on Scrooge's part. As we see, the nephew has not lost his Christmas humor, his Christmas spirit. That's an old way that we used to talk about a person's attitude or their feeling, their Christmas humor, their humor, I should say. All right, so questions. Number 1, did Scrooge visit his nephew before him getting married? Did Scrooge visit his nephew before him getting married? And the answer is no, of course not. Why does Scrooge have time for a wedding, let alone before a wedding? Scrooge, the entire opening parts, the first 3-4 parts of this is all laying out for you just who Scrooge is. What kind of man is Ebenezer Scrooge? And let me know what you think. So how did Scrooge try to convince his nephew to leave him alone? That's a good question. How did Scrooge try to convince his nephew to leave him alone? Well, he growled at him. He growled at him and said, "Because you fell in love," as if that was a crazy, ridiculous thing to say, more crazy than even saying Merry Christmas. And then he said, "Good afternoon." And that's all he said for the rest of the scene. Good afternoon. Did Scrooge ever fight with his nephew? I mean, would you consider this a fight? I don't know. Let me know. What is this a fight? But I can tell you right now, quarrel. Remember, quarrel was the argument, the word for an angry argument, usually between friends or family. So we see that word right here. And what does he say? "I'm sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute." He's not going to change his mind. "We have never had any quarrel to which I have been a party." So in other words, no, they never had a fight. Never. Not once. At least not to the nephew's side of things. And so why did the nephew invite Scrooge over for dinner? You may be asking yourself that question right now. Why would anybody invite this grumpy old Scrooge over to Christmas? Yeah, because he says, "I have made the trial in homage to Christmas, in honor of Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last." Yeah, because Christmas is a time, as he said, to be generous, to be caring, and to take care of each other. And who came in the room after Scrooge's nephew left? I'm not going to give you the answer. You're going to have to leave that one in the comments down below. But I am going to ask one more question from our discussion section because it's important to bring these discussions out. Let me ask you, why do you think that Scrooge refused to visit his family or his nephew's family for Christmas? It's a good question. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious to see. And that's all the time that we have for today's session. And this is today's last lesson. If you want to hear the next section, to see who these two fellows are who just came into the office, these two portly gentlemen who just walked in, let's find out. But you'll have to come back tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on this reading of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And if you want to continue the story, just click on the box right over there. I'm always grateful for your support, so please remember to like and subscribe for more from All About English. Merry Christmas!